Hi everybody, welcome back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare's Warzone mode, and this is my first Warzone victory. I think it's about my third or fourth game. Everything happens in this game, including me managing to kill myself by jumping off the map, driving in a quad, forgetting to call in airstrikes, winning a gulag match, and obviously getting the win for my squad at the end. I think I get 7 kills or something like that. So what I wanted to talk about in this are first impressions, some hints and tips, some very early hints and tips, I guess, for this game. And yeah, I mean, you could argue that Activision and Infinity Ward have probably ticked all of the boxes for this game. Honestly, my first impressions are that it doesn't really do that much wrong. It's free to play, which is great, which means that the player count hopefully is going to be high. It's cross-platform as well, so unlike Blackout, where you had to own Black Ops 4, this anybody can download it on PlayStation, Xbox and PC and play it, and again it's cross-platform that way, so that is a big tick. It's being monetized with the Season Pass, which you buy for like £7. But if you've already got the Season Pass for the multiplayer version of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, it applies to this. So that's a really good way of monetizing it, and I think this will also be an advert for Modern Warfare as well. So I think Modern Warfare is on special at the moment, isn't it? So they'll encourage people to buy Modern Warfare, and use this as an advert for it, but that means no loot boxes, so that's cool. And I think the store actually for Modern Warfare, with the different types of skins you can get for your characters, which you can take into the game as well, is very good. Yeah, it looks good. I'm just running this on an original PlayStation. I have got it installed on a solid state drive, so it probably runs and loads in a little bit better, but fidelity wise it's the same. It's kind of the same high standards that we'd expect from the game itself. The sounds, interestingly enough, are good as well. There wasn't any point through this game when I felt that I was being overwhelmed with too many notifications and sounds, where I couldn't then hear footsteps, because in any multiplayer game, especially Battle Royales, where you don't really get a second chance, it's important that you can hear stuff. And in fact, at the end, when I get the victory, it's all down to being able to hear where people are coming from and getting set up for them, and then taking them out that way. So first impressions, great. Download it, give it a go. You're going to enjoy it. Now, it is a very big map though, so even though there's 150 players going in, and at the moment it's squads only, which is 3-man squads, but I managed to get split up from my squad because I couldn't remember how you press the button to follow your squad leader in. So the early stages, if you jump long and play the edge, which is probably one of my first tips where you're getting used to the game, you can be by yourself for quite a long time. Now, important tips. Play the there's 2 kind of practice modes you can play. There's a Warzone primer, if you like, that explains some of the different mechanics behind Warzone. Do that because that explains about how armor works, how you can ping things, so you can mark on the map by tapping up on your D-pad to say, look, I'm going here, or you can double tap it to, I think it's double tap to say, look, enemies are here, and you can tap on weapons and armor to tell people that stuff's around. And it also explains about contracts. Now, in Warzone, not only have you got to win, to be the last alive, but there's lots of other things that you can do as well to earn XP and earn money. More on that later. So, contracts, you'll see these little tablets, like iPads, hanging around the map, and you go on them, and I think there's 3 different types of contracts. There's one where you have to basically play a little game of domination and hold an area for a period of time, and that will give you a reward, a supply box. There's one where you have to track down another squad and kill them all. That gives you one thing, but probably the easiest ones are the ones where you have to hunt for other supply boxes. And when you pick one of those contracts up, it will say, right, your next supply box is here, and you run and you'll find it, then another one and another one. Now, these are important not only because they give you money, which you can use to buy things, which we'll talk about in a sec, but also there's good stuff in these boxes, and it gives you a clear marker of where to go from one place to the other. Now, this is a buy station, so at this buy station, because I've picked up, I don't think I've picked up any money, but when you picked up money, you can buy like armor plates, you can buy a self-revive, and you can pay to revive your teammates as well. What was I saying? So the important thing, yeah, so as you're going from box to box, not only are you completing that contract, but you're also getting good loot. And when I managed to kill myself by jumping off the map, because I thought, oh, you might be able to swim, but you can't, and you spawn back in, if you win the gulag match, you only have a pistol, and it was quite late in the game, so I needed to get looted up quickly, and by taking up that contract and running from box to box, I managed to get myself some nice weapons, which is important. Don't get too hung up on the weapons, though. You can, although we have the armor system in this game, and to use the armor, basically pick up those plates and you hold the top button. It's triangle on PlayStation. It would be on Xbox. You would hold Y, and that slips an armor plate into your vest, but it covers your whole body. Your armor, it's like magic armor. Even though you can fit up to 3 of those on you, and then that gives you your effectively a health of 250. The time to kill is still pretty quick. It didn't feel like Blackout or Apex, where you're hammering away at someone for ages and they keep changing their armor. Now, I didn't in this game really get into many long-term engagements, where you're blatting people and blatting people and blatting people, which is sometimes can be the frustrating thing. But definitely at short range with assault rifles and SMG, it felt really good. So armor plates, very important. Pick up as many as you can, and as soon as you've got them, hit that top button and put them in so you get up to 3. Now, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see my name there, right at the bottom left, and the white bar is my health, and the blue bar is my armor. So I've got maximum armor, and then to the right of that is how many spare armor plates I've still got equipped. And you can see, so I'm pretty good to go. Now, so do your contracts, pick up your armor, pick up your weapons. The ammo system is much simplified, so it auto picks up ammo. You don't have to, as far as I can see, you don't really have to worry about going in your inventory. You can't muck around with the guns to add stuff to them. They come as they are. So you get, common guns which haven't got any attachments, rare guns that have got more, ultras or whatever they're called, that have got even more after that. Now, at this particular point, I'm going back to the buy point to see if I can buy back my teammate who died. Actually, that just reminded me, when you're watching this gameplay, for some reason it keeps skipping. In fact, when we get right to the end and actually win, it skips the point when I kill the final guy. So, a little bit unfortunate, but that sometimes happens when the PlayStation's recording stuff. So get yourself kitted up that way. As far as tactics go in your overall strategy, of course, my overall strategy will always be D23E, which comes from PUBG, which in PUBG stands for drive to the third circle and then play the edge. But basically, it means playing the edge. In the game, I've played about 3 games of this, and it definitely feels like you can stay ahead of the circle, stay ahead of the gas on foot. So that's pretty cool. And my tactic and strategy in this game is to get to the coast, so I know I've got the sea to my left, so I don't have to worry about where people are. And then unfortunately I kill myself, but I win the gulag match. So when I spawn back in, you spawn back in your team, spawn back in on your teammate, and we're in the middle of the city. I think it's the Tovorsk district. Is it over today? Yeah, the city from Ground War. Anyway. So the other thing I was going to say to practice as well is there is ground war practice, where you go in and you drop in into basically, I think it's like the last 3 circles, and you fight against bots. Now that's very important to do as well, because you want to get used to the mechanics of putting armor into your vest, visiting buy stations, the different sort of weapons, using weapons without attachments, and just that overall time to kill. Now, if you look back on my channel, you'll see that I've done a time to kill speed and accuracy drill using Modern Warfare multiplayer maps, where you bump up the health of the bots to give you an idea of what it's like to kill people. Because what's very dangerous in games that have longer time to kills, like Warzone, is that you've got that muscle memory of, in order to kill somebody, I hold down the trigger for half a second. Well, they won't die. And you also need to build up the trigger memory of reloading as well, because sure, you're going to be able to kill one player with maybe two with one magazine, maybe, but it's probably going to be one kill per magazine, so you need to keep reloading. Now, I was lucky in this particular match. I didn't come across groups of players trying to fight me, and I think this is always where these games with the longer time to kill aren't as good, because it means that you can't kill 3 players with one magazine, which puts you at a massive disadvantage. So say you come across a squad by yourself, you can definitely kill one of them, you might be able to kill 2 of them, but then you've got to reload, and that gives the other person a chance to turn around and shoot you. Whereas in something like PUBG, because the time to kill is so quick, if you get the jump on a squad, you can often take them out when you're playing solo. In these early days, though, with Warzone, you'll probably find, because people don't know how to follow each other, as I didn't know in this particular game, you'll end up with lots of solos, I think, playing. And you know, as soon as the solo mode becomes unlocked, anyway, I'll probably be playing lots of solos. If you do find yourself dead and you end up in the gulag, and the best way to practice that is to practice gunfight matches, but it's one-on-one. I think with a random weapon. I've had pistols in mine so far, and the thing I would say about that is, you know, you've normally got a grenade and a stun or a smoke grenade. Just take your time and listen for where the other player's going to be. Don't make any rash moves, and then when you see them, stay cool, stay on target, and black them. When you get into the final circles, it's all about playing the edge and listening out for where the enemies are. You know, just like in PUBG, just like in Blackout. And gauge whether they're an immediate threat to you as well. So when you're in the final circles, because of this longer time to kill, try not to engage players that you're not definitely going to be able to kill if they're not a direct threat. So if they're, say, at medium to long range and you could get the kill, but you might not get it, don't give away your position by shooting. Only go for those definite kills. And a massive tip I would say to anybody in this game is always consider verticality. And by that I don't just mean going upstairs into buildings, but jumping on objects and getting on the roofs of buildings, because I've been in lots of situations. There's one in this game near the end where so people know where I am, but I reposition by jumping on top of a truck in this one and tucking down on top of a truck. And I don't think they were thinking about it that way. And in another game, I got on top of a roof where I was only had a pistol. I was being tracked, you know, being chased by three team members, and they were literally running around this building looking for me, not realising that I was just standing right on the top, and I managed to black them that way. So there we go. Some early hints and tips. Oh, another one. Obviously, you can deploy your parachute when you jump off high areas. So use those 2 practice modes. Jump into practice on local games in multiplayer, but whack up the health to 250 to get used to the time to kill. When you're in the game, you know, play the edge. Make sure you get those armors. Pick up those contracts when they're supplier-based contracts, so you can pick up some really cool kit. And I guess at this stage we're really just enjoying the game, getting used to the mechanics, and we'll really have to see what Warzone has to offer us over the next few weeks and few months. But so far, for the few games I've played, I think it's fantastic. And the PUBG sweats that you get in those final circles, they're here. It's just as nerve-wracking as PUBG is, and very, very enjoyable indeed. Anyway, though, that's enough from me. I'll just leave you with the gameplay now for what it is, to record for posterity my first Warzone win. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.
You lose, your fight is over. It's time. Break some. Well done. Step right into deployment. SFG here. Stand for my line. Gas is moving in. New safe zone located. Supply cache marked. Package. Gas is moving.
We're in the safe zone. Get ready for incoming.
Objectives updated. Move to the next location. Contract updated. New objective identified. Contract complete. All supply boxes open. Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone. Gas is moving.
We're in the safe zone. Get ready for incoming.
I'll be driving.
Mark a drop point for your team. You'll lead them in. Victory rests on your shoulders. Finish the mission. Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone. 25 remaining. safe zone. Ten remain standing. Gas is moving. Less than 5 targets remain. Time's almost up. Finish the mission. Bleeding off.